Satellite images show nothing but endless dunes and test ranges. Yet every few months, geometric patterns appear in the sand. Symmetrical shapes, perfectly aligned to magnetic north, as if something massive is still buried beneath. If the stories are true, Area 57 may be more than a test base. It may be the crossroads of two worlds, where NASA's human curiosity met something far beyond human comprehension. And perhaps, somewhere in those hidden hangars, behind blast doors that have not opened in decades, the future of spaceflight, or the evidence of its alien origins, still waits, humming quietly in the dark. Project Seraphim, the ship built from alien technology. For decades, NASA has been seen as the pinnacle of human innovation, our gateway to the stars. But behind the public launches, televised missions, and smiling astronauts, there are whispers of a project so secret it makes even the Apollo archives seem ordinary. Hidden deep within classified research divisions and black-budget facilities lies the legend of Project Seraphim, a spacecraft allegedly built using alien technology recovered from crash sites that never made the news. The discovery that started it all. In 1986, a small object crashed in the Nevada desert during a satellite tracking experiment. Officially, it was dismissed as space debris from a failed Soviet probe. But declassified air traffic logs tell another story. Within hours, NASA security personnel, Air Force units, and unmarked black trucks sealed the area. The object was flown under extreme secrecy to a facility at Edwards Air Force Base, where reports claim it was examined by a joint NASA-Pentagon research team. Witnesses later described it as a metallic craft that hummed with energy, perfectly smooth, no bolts, no seams. The strange material defied all attempts at cutting or melting. When an electromagnetic pulse was applied, the object emitted a faint blue glow and levitated slightly above its platform. That was when the whispers began. NASA had found something not of this Earth. The object was allegedly moved to Hangar 19, a structure within the restricted zone of the base, and from there the seeds of Project Seraphim were planted. Birth of Project Seraphim. In 1989, NASA's internal funding records show an unusual allocation labeled High Energy Propulsion Development Initiative, HEPD, an innocuous title hiding a budget of $2.3 billion. No public project ever matched that description. Former contractors later claimed that HEPD was a cover for Seraphim, a joint NASA-DoD venture aimed at reverse engineering non-terrestrial propulsion systems. The project's goal was simple in theory but staggering in ambition: to build a spacecraft that could bend gravity itself. Scientists studying the recovered craft found that its propulsion didn't rely on fuel or thrust. Instead, it seemed to manipulate space-time around it, reducing its mass and creating instantaneous movement within short distances, what some would call anti-gravity. The team's lead physicist, Dr. Alan Kessler, who mysteriously vanished in 1994, once described it in a leaked transcript. It's like to forget an object exists in one point and remember it in another. Experiments in the shadows. Throughout the 1990s, small-scale tests were reportedly conducted at NASA's Plum Brook Station in Ohio and the White Sands Testing Range in New Mexico. Witnesses reported seeing triangular lights, performing impossible maneuvers, turning at right angles mid-air, accelerating silently, and disappearing without a sonic boom. A former Lockheed engineer claimed Seraphim's prototype, nicknamed Ethereal 1, was powered by a zero-point energy core derived from quantum field manipulation, technology far beyond known science. It was said to run indefinitely, drawing energy directly from the fabric of spacetime. By 1997, the team had built a full-scale ship, Seraphim Alpha, described as 120 feet long, silent, and capable of ascending vertically without visible exhaust. Test pilots reportedly called it riding a light wave. But every breakthrough came with consequences. The intense energy fields warped nearby instruments and even affected brainwaves. Some technicians developed severe disorientation, insomnia, and unexplained radiation burns despite strict safety protocols. NASA officially denied everything. The incident over the Pacific. On May 14, 1998, radar operators aboard a Navy vessel detected an unidentified object moving from California's coast toward the Pacific at speeds exceeding 50,000 miles per hour, far faster than any known aircraft. NORAD scrambled jets, but the object vanished above the ocean, leaving behind a shimmering distortion that interfered with communications for nearly an hour. The event matched the exact coordinates of a scheduled aerospace experiment listed in NASA's internal testing calendar for that same date. 2 weeks later, a classified memo circulated among senior defense officials under the subject: Seraphim flight test compromised. Recommend termination. After that, The name Project Seraphim disappeared from all records. Where did it go? Many believe Seraphim was never shut down, only moved. Former insiders suggest the program was relocated under the U.S. Space Force umbrella in 2019, hidden among the new wave of classified aerospace research. Others point to NASA's Artemis program as a possible continuation, with rumors that one of the lunar transport prototypes secretly integrates Seraphim propulsion tech. A whistleblower from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory claimed that some of the energy systems on upcoming spacecraft aren't entirely human-designed. When questioned, NASA's spokesperson dismissed these allegations as science fiction. Yet, strangely, NASA filed patents in 2016 for plasma compression fusion drives and inertial mass reduction devices, technologies eerily similar to what Seraphim researchers had supposedly pursued decades earlier. Coincidence or quiet disclosure? Theoretical possibilities. If Seraphim truly harnessed alien physics, it might explain many recent space anomalies. Unexplained energy readings from lunar orbits, unidentified fast-moving lights near Earth's upper atmosphere, and classified test objects occasionally captured by amateurish disclosure. Physicist Dr. Harold Timmons speculated in 2007, if NASA ever achieved functional gravity control, it would make rockets obsolete. They'd never admit it. They'd just stop using chemical propulsion altogether. Interestingly, NASA's next-generation crafts, like the X-59 and Dream Chaser, all show radical changes in design philosophy. Lightweight materials, silent flight, and unconventional shapes. Could these be subtle steps toward integrating Seraphim's hidden tech, what the public wasn't meant to know? Declassified budget analyses reveal a missing $12.8 billion in NASA's 2000 to 2006 expenditures, unaccounted for even by the agency's auditors. A Freedom of Information Act request in 2011 returned heavily redacted pages, except for a single phrase. Energy Redistribution Field Experiments Project Seraphim. It's as if someone wanted us to see the name, just enough to make us wonder. Meanwhile, private contractors like Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works division and Boeing's Phantom Works have both made cryptic references to breakthrough energy platforms. Ben Rich, former head of Skunk Works, famously said in 1993, "We already have the technology to take ET home, but it would take an act of God to release it to the public." Was he referring to Seraphim? Today, Project Seraphim exists only in fragments, redacted memos, second-hand accounts, and the testimonies of those who claim to have worked in the dark corners of NASA's most guarded labs. But one truth endures. Somewhere, in a hangar far from public eyes, humanity may have already built its first alien-inspired ship. But if the legends are true, the Seraphim represents more than just hidden technology. It's a symbol of what happens when humanity looks into the universe, and the universe looks back, offering a piece of itself. And NASA, the silent guardian of our cosmic ambitions, might already be using gift to reach for the stars in ways we can barely imagine. The hidden hangars of Area 57, NASA's forgotten test base. For decades, Area 51 in Nevada has dominated the public imagination, the epicenter of alien secrets, classified aircraft, and denied operations. But deep within the deserts of Utah, far from the bright lights of Las Vegas or the known restricted zones, lies a base almost no one talks about, Area 57. Unlike its infamous counterpart, Area 57 does not appear on modern maps, official defense registries, or NASA facility lists. Yet, whispers persist that this site hides something far stranger than any stealth jet, the hangars of forgotten spacecraft, both human and not. The origins of a number that shouldn't exist. The mystery of Area 57 begins in the 1970s. During the height of the Cold War, the U.S. government designated numerous areas for testing, stretching across Nevada, Utah, and parts of Colorado. Most were decommissioned or absorbed into other programs. But when curious researchers attempted to trace Area 57, they found nothing. No coordinates, no satellite tags, no flight restrictions. And yet, fragments of evidence exist. In a 1982 internal NASA memo leaked to investigative journalist Harold K. Burns, a reference appears. Vehicle prototype relocation to test zone 57 approved. Maintain full atmospheric containment during transfer. The document was buried among hundreds of unrelated engineering papers, but that single line ignited a decades-long hunt for what NASA was moving. And where? The disappearance of Hangar B-12. According to declassified transport logs from 1983, a NASA convoy carrying aerospace hulls left Edwards Air Force Base under heavy guard. The manifest listed experimental craft from defunct propulsion projects, some connected to the Aurora program, others simply coded as unidentified atmospheric vehicle. 2 days later, the convoy vanished from radar near the Utah test and training range. No crash sites were reported, and no vehicles were seen returning. Months later, the same log was updated. Materials successfully stored at Facility 57B. Curiously, the public had no record of any Facility 57B. The hangar's supposed purpose was later cited as meteorological research. But locals who lived near the western Utah desert reported something else. Columns of light rising silently into the night sky, and the sound of heavy turbines rumbling beneath the sand. The NASA connection that vanished. While Area 57 is technically military, several former NASA engineers have claimed indirect involvement. One anonymous source, identified only as Dr. L., stated in a 1999 interview that NASA's role was to reverse engineer non-traditional propulsion systems, vehicles that didn't fit known design physics. Dr. L described the base as a subterranean complex, reachable only through an airstrip disguised as a mining operation. He claimed the hangars extended hundreds of feet underground, housing at least 4 types of experimental craft. 1. The Seraphim glider, a triangular, black, silent craft that could hover motionless for hours. 2. The V-23 Nebula Pod, a compact circular ship said to use plasma folding propulsion. 3. The Orion Relay Vessel, a testbed for deep space communication that once received an unexplained transmission from the dark side of the moon. 4. The Visitor Fragment, alleged debris of unknown alloy, discovered near the moon's south pole by a classified mission preceding Apollo 17. NASA has officially denied all such claims, stating no facility named Area 57 has ever existed under its oversight. Yet, Freedom of Information Act requests about Test Zone 57 consistently return a classified for national security response, an odd answer for something supposedly imaginary. The Signal Incident of 2002. In April 2002, a team of amateur radio operators in Utah reported picking up an unusual encrypted frequency. The transmission originated from an unregistered satellite uplink near Dugway Proving Ground, close to the area suspected of housing Area 57. The message contained repeating data packets with a NASA transmission ID, STS L57. Within hours, federal agents allegedly visited the operators, confiscated their equipment, and issued warnings under the Espionage Act. When pressed later, NASA explained that STS was a standard code for space shuttle missions, but no official mission had ever carried the number L57. The last recorded shuttle flight that year was STS-109, a full 48 numbers short of the mysterious signal. Eyewitness accounts, the lights of the desert. In 2014, a Utah truck driver named Ben Cooper claimed he witnessed a glowing craft emerging from the sand dunes near Dugway at 3 a.m. He described it as a matte black triangle, maybe the size of a football field, rising without sound. He said it emitted a faint blue light around its edges before accelerating straight upward and disappearing. 2 days later, Cooper reported being followed by unmarked black SUVs. He filed a report with local police, but it was dismissed as aerial misidentification. Cooper maintained his story until his disappearance in 2016. His truck was found abandoned near the Utah-Nevada border, the keys still in the ignition. Declassified documents that don't add up. In 2018, new data surfaced through a FOIA release tied to NASA's Experimental Vehicle Division. Among the thousands of scanned documents was a blurred image labeled Project SE-57 Atmospheric Field Hangar, Utah site. The photo showed a row of metallic structures embedded into a desert slope, with what appeared to be massive reinforced doors. The caption referenced non-ionic propulsion testing. Experts noted that the document style and paper markings matched those used by NASA in the early 1980s. NASA later dismissed the file as a misfiled simulation document. However, several digital analysts concluded the metadata indicated it was uploaded from a Department of Defense server, not NASA's. The theories behind the silence. Researchers and conspiracy theorists have proposed several explanations for Area 57's purpose. Alien Technology Repository, a continuation of post-Roswell retrieval efforts, where alien craft and technology are tested under NASA supervision. Quantum Propulsion Lab, a black-budget facility where NASA tests field propulsion systems derived from theoretical physics, including warp bubbles. Dimensional Research Base. Some fringe scientists believe Area 57 studies interdimensional anomalies, especially signals that NASA probes have allegedly intercepted. Deep Space Defense Outpost, a covert collaboration between NASA and the U.S. Space Force to build orbital defense craft against unknown cosmic threats. Each theory sounds like science fiction, yet each has tiny fragments of evidence that refuse to be fully explained. A name in the stars. In 2021, a skywatcher tracking SpaceX launches detected a slow-moving object passing over the Utah desert at an impossible altitude and velocity. It emitted a faint infrared signature and then vanished near the Dugway region. When analyzed, the observer's data revealed a call sign transmitted briefly in the 7.8 GHz range, A57, Orion. No known satellite or aircraft used that ID. NASA never commented. The forgotten base that won't stay silent. Today, Area 57 remains unacknowledged, unmarked, and unexplained. Satellite images show nothing but endless dunes and test ranges. Yet every few months, faint geometric patterns appear in the sand. Symmetrical shapes aligned to magnetic north, as if something massive is still buried beneath. If the stories are true, Area 57 may be more than a test base. It may be the crossroads of two worlds, where NASA's